I didn't already record this metagame minute and like 4 other metagame minutes, and the sound was screwed up on all of them, so now I have to do them again. That didn't happen. You happened.
3, 2, 1, go.
That didn't happen. You happened. That sounds like a really, really emo song. Am I right, though? What's up, everybody? My name is Nick Murphy. I'm one half the Brothers Murphy, and this is Metagame Minute. Metagame Minute is a weekly segment where Mike or I talk about anything we want to talk about in gaming world. Today, I realize if English is not your native language, that probably didn't sound like anything because I don't speak English very well. I don't believe in consonants. I digress. Okay, we're going wild with it today. Today, I want to talk about something in board gaming that is very small, but I think it's make a big difference. Or rather, that's what I want to talk about. Things in games that are very small, but make a very big difference. I think there's a lot of little things in games that probably weren't there in the original game, but as they got play tested, as things changed, they're like, ooh, let's change this little thing. And then when you do, it makes the game complete. It really makes the game better. And sometimes it's like a small mechanical thing. Sometimes I think that can even be like an aesthetic thing. Like I think art can be one of those things where like, hey, we decided to like change this symbology to this. And also it's like, boom, this is way better now. A lot of times those little details are what take games from good to great. And we're going to start with one. Little things that I like in a specific game. One is 100% aesthetic, has nothing to do with the game, and that is the fish in Oceans. Oceans is a sequel to the game Evolution, or I guess a threequel to Evolution, because Evolution Climate was kind of a sequel to Evolution. But nonetheless, this is a game where you are evolving different aquatic species, and you are eating each other and feeding. You're trying to eat the most food. It's evolution. You're trying to survive. You're trying to eat the most food and grow your population. That's what you're trying to do. I love Evolution. I love Oceans. It's great. But in Oceans, there's a very, very small thing that they decided to do that I think makes a massive difference, at least just in terms of setup and takedown. So there are a bunch of different kinds of fish in the game. There's like clownfish, and it's kind of like blue fish with like purple spots, and a bunch of different colors of fish. But here's the thing. They're just fish. It's just food. They don't actually mean anything. But the difference in colors of fish are for different player counts. So if you're playing like a 2-player game, you use these fish, like the clownfish. But then if you're playing a 3-player game, you're going to use those ones and you're going to add in these color of fish. And then if you're going to play a 4-player game, you add those ones, and you add in these ones. And it's just such a small thing that makes such a big difference to me. I'm like, that is so brilliant. Fish come in all different kinds of sizes, all different kinds of colors. So it's very, very easy to separate them out afterwards. Like, oh, all the 2-player fish are these ones. That's very, very easy to see, very, very easy to separate, but doesn't actually change anything at all in the game. But that is such a small thing that I was like, that is so brilliant. Thank you for doing that. That's weirdly very, very, very nice. And I think it's so much better than having it being like a +3, +4 in the corner. A lot of things have that, and that's fine. But it was such a cool way to differentiate those things and still have it kind of work in that world. So that's a very small aesthetic thing that doesn't really make a huge difference in the game, but I just really, really like it. A very small mechanical change is a game like Blue Lagoon. Blue Lagoon, you are coming in, you're kind of like Polynesian people inhabiting these uninhabited islands, and you're like gathering resources. Reiner Knizia has no theme, but it's very, very pretty. So the first half of the game takes place over 2 rounds, and the rounds are basically exactly the same. You come in and you're inhabiting the islands and you're putting out these little tokens in a line, and that's your settlers coming into the world, and you're gathering resources and kind of set collection. The game, first half is very short, and then you basically score out that whole round. But one thing you can put out is you can put out these little villages, these little huts, and you put those out onto the various islands, and it's just another thing you can put out. And then at the end of the first round, you take away all the settlers, but you leave your little huts. So the first half of the game, you have to come in essentially from the edges of the board, and you have to come in through the water because the Polynesian people got to these islands from the water. And so that makes sense. But the second half of the game is literally exactly the same as the first half, except for now you have to come out from your huts. You have to come out from your villages because that's where you've like settled. And now you're really like populating the islands. And that is such a small difference in the game, right? It's like, other than that, it's literally exactly the same. It scores exactly the same. But instead of coming in this way, you have to come in from the middle and go out. And it makes the game so good because when you're putting out your settlements in the first half of the game, you have to really think about where you're putting them because you put them all in one corner. That doesn't really help you in the second half of the game. And it's such a small change that I think works really, really well. So those are three like very small little changes, some of them mechanical, one of them just aesthetic, but I really think make a big difference. I think those tiny little decisions are what take a lot of games from good to great. So down in the comments, let me know what are some little things in games, whether they're aesthetic or maybe like some symbology or mechanics or anything. Let me know some little things in games that you think make a really big difference and that you really, really love. Let me know down in the comments below. I really would love to find out more of these things because I just think it's super neat. And that's gonna be it for me. Until next time, whether these little things make a big difference, you're like, no, it's the quality of the cubes that makes difference. I don't know. Remember, the more meta, the more better. Thank you so much for watching that Metagame Minute. If you want to check out Mike's last Metagame Minute, check out that video up there. And that video down there is probably going to be, I don't know, like a Game House video or something like that. Let's go with that. Make sure to like this video, share it around, subscribe. You know what to do.